Hello everyone, my name is Susan Day and I'm bringing a presentation to you from Bilbaloo, from bilbaloo.com. Today we're going to look at putting your blog post to work. So let's get started. I do have a little bit of a hidden agenda, which I'm going to save till the end, of course. But yeah, let's get started and we'll go through the whole process. Now, as we all know, there are different ways to share a blog post, just one post. Creating content is a big task. It's a huge job for any blogger, for anyone who runs a business in particular. And I personally think you need all the help you can get. I've put this presentation together. There are some obvious things. There are some not so obvious things. Some of them we've covered before. So I'm just going to touch on those things lightly. But like I said, I've got something at the end that I'm experimenting with and that I'm quite excited to share with you. We all understand that content is king, and the more you have on your website, the better. Personally, I have two big mega websites. One has 1,378 posts, thereabouts on it, and the other one has, I think it's hit the 889 thing. Now these websites generate their own SEO. They have great organic traffic, and there's a good turnaround. But getting 800 at least, or 1,000 blog posts, and you think to yourself, gosh, where does it all end? So it is creating content is a very laborious process. And of course, how you format it is, again, essential for being found online and also for keeping the attention of your visitors. If you've got followers that hang off your every post and they share your stuff like crazy, then this is not the webinar for you. This is the webinar for bloggers who, who are not sure how to make their articles work. You get tired of reposting or you run out of ideas. We'll be looking at taking one blog post and using different methods to share it over a broad area so you can reach as many people as possible. So let's get started. So our blog post here is in the middle, and around the edge there we've got 6 great ideas. We're going to cover each one. Each one will benefit your SEO, but what we want to look at is not reducing the content, because we all know that the more content you have, the better, but perhaps getting those cornerstone articles, getting those really great posts that you've written and you're really proud of because you just managed to get it all together, getting those up and getting them out, improving their reachability, if that's a word. I'm not sure if that's a word. I might have just made that up. Okay, social media. Now, the two things, again, I know we've covered this to death a lot. I just want to touch on it again because I think it's all part of this whole process. Two things I think are really important. Are your posts automatically shared to your SM or social media platforms? Does your WordPress account set this up nicely? It should. If it doesn't, pause the video, go to your WordPress dashboard and get it all sorted. Why would you share your post? Why do you sit and manually share your post over and over again when you can have this all automated? It just doesn't make sense to me. Having said that, keep it limited. Keep it limited to where your target audience exists. Okay, so if you know that if you're reaching out to young groovy people, I don't know who they are, and they're all hanging out on Instagram, then make sure you're there. If your target audience is oldies like me, then get into Pinterest, get onto Facebook. You need to do that work. We've covered this a lot on previous webinars. Now, the other social media automated option is at the bottom of your post. You should have as many social media platforms listed there as your theme in WordPress will allow. This means that a visitor to your site who really loves your stuff and wants to share it will do so. And that's an important factor I'm going to bring up at the end when I reveal my experiment that I've been doing. So make sure your posts are automated so you don't have to do it. It's already done for you. And make sure that you've given people enough chances to post on their social media platforms. They may not be yours, but on their social media platforms. Okay, so I hope you made a note of that. We're moving along. We've got a quick Now, we've done this a lot too, and I've certainly done it in my own podcast, my own webinars, is taking one blog post and repurposing it. Now, I've done this, done a whole webinar on this, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time. I'm using Zoom at the moment to create this webinar video for you. When it's finished, it will automatically save the recording to my computer as an MP4 video that I can share on YouTube. It'll be on Bill's forum. It'll also be on other sorts of places, and it will also save for me the MP3 file, which is my podcast file. So if I need to set it up as a podcast, I can do that too. This just means you may want to give a brief. You won't begin podcasts. What we've learned from podcasts is that they can be a lot longer than a video because people will listen to them. They'll listen to them while they're out walking the dog, or they're going to work on the train in the morning, or traveling in the car. So don't be frightened about reading what you've got. I would add this to the existing blog post as an option and have it on a special page where you can create, where people will go to because they want to listen to what you've got to say. And you'll notice that I have a text on the screen here, which of course I went to a lot of trouble to create, and I'm not even following that because I can pretty much talk underwater, and I want this to be a really conversational piece. So if anyone's listening to this as a podcast, I hope that without the visuals, you'll still get a lot of great information. So I think that's something we could look at the future, is how to create really entertaining and engaging podcasts. Memes are another thing. This is one thing I've been experimenting with. It's not the other experiment I was talking about, but using really eye-catching memes, particularly on Twitter, that just jump out at people. So they go, oh, what's that? Not much text. We're talking about 20% text, bright image, an image that takes up 80% of the photo, if you like. So if you've got a lovely face, get it on there. And see how that works, and see how if different memes bring different types of people to the one blog post. There's nothing to say that you can't change the wrapping. Your blog post is like a gift. It's not even Christmas yet. And you're going to wrap it differently to see how it attracts different people. So that's where your memes are really good. And it's lots of fun too. So moving quickly along, she says, repurposing content. We've done this before as well. You've got one fabulous blog post. It might be 10 things that you can do for XYZ, or I don't know. It could, if it's a number blog post, these are my absolute favorite, because what I do is I take each one of those points and I create a new post and I link them all together on the website. The other thing I do, if I'm struggling for content and I've got this really super terrific blog post and I want it to go out, is I'll take the subheadings and I'll create another blog post and I'll link them all together. So always endeavour to keep everything 100% original as much as you can, so that you're, you don't sort of, if someone is following you a lot, you tend to think you're repeating yourself. But, and it's also great for your SEO. So here we go. Automatic reposting. And we have touched on this again, but not a great deal. There are plugins in WordPress that you can use, which will share your content at a regular basis. These are really good if you've got 100 blog posts. And if you've got 100 blog posts, let me applaud all the wonderful work that you've done. I think you're fabulous. But why are they just sitting on your website? Let's get them out there. Get an evergreen, ever tweeting, something like that blog post. Last week, Rev from Bill's forum gave us some terrific ideas, so check out that webinar. You can set up these. You can determine what blog post goes out, how often they go out, and where they go to. So you could take a month off and spend time in a beautiful sunny part of the world, wherever you're living, and these wonderful little plugins will be chugging out your wonderful blog posts. So auto reposting, they have other names, evergreen stuff, I can't quite remember, but yeah, check them out, look them up, research them, and again, like I said, go to Rev's page and he knows all the best ones to use, and they're free, which is even better again. There we go. Now we have ripped through these ones, and I want to talk about something that I've been working on all year. And this is guest posts. Now, some of you who've sort of known me from Bill's Forum, or we've hung out together on social media, will know that I had what do you think it was, an experiment, shall we say, a program that I started somewhere in January, and I had a new website. And I thought, well, I can just tap away and create lots of content on my website, which now I have done. We're in September, so 9 months later. But I also thought I would go out and write posts for other people. And my only requirement from them is that I could have one link back to my website. This has been an extraordinary experiment. I have found that the SEO and the organic traffic for my website has just gone through the roof. It's actually matching, it's coming up to matching those other websites that I have created that have the huge amount of content. At the moment, this particular website has about 300 posts. So it's doing really, really well. Now, what I wanted to talk to you today was mainly about, and I've done a webinar about how to guest post and what to do and what not to do. So I'd please encourage you to check that out. At the end of this presentation, you'll have my email address, so you're welcome to contact me. And if you'd like a copy of this presentation, we can do that too. However, I have almost reached my 100 blog posts goal. So yay me. So it's a little round of applause. I actually took a break from it, so I would have achieved this in July, at least in July, if I had really pushed it in June. I found strange people I've never met before from places in the world. I can't even imagine going to have opened up their blog post and said, yes, come on board and write for me. And it's been a treat, and I've met some really amazing people. Stretched myself as a writer/blogger as well, which is always a good thing. Now, what I decided to do is, so I'm going to talk about in the next slide, but I want to just talk about just briefly these guest posts that you've done. If you've written a really fabulous one and that you're really proud of, share it. Use all the social media buttons that that blogger has provided at the end of the post and share it. If you're a WordPress tragic like all of us at Baloo's Forum, then like it as well. Share it on your pages, share it in your groups, share it to your friends and family. Help that other blogger's SEO, and this will, of course, help yours. So it's a win-win situation. Again, we're looking at ensuring that everything you write is 100% original. So even if you sort of get a brief from a guest poster, and it's something similar to what you've done, don't send them another post. I know there's a million, trillion, gazillion pieces of information posted online every minute, but by jingo, someone will find out. So rewrite the whole thing. And again, if you've got these two topics that are quite similar, why not grab a subheading from the first one you wrote and create a brand new guest post just based on that subheading? If you need some tips on this, again, let me know. So like I said, I've got all these guest posts, and I've got to about 100. I'm going to keep going because I actually really enjoy it. Oh, I know that sounds like crazy time, but I do. I want to talk to you next, and this is this is my big experiment that I've been working with. So first part of my experiment was creating 100 guest posts on other people's websites, and I wanted to see how that improved my SEO. As I've said just a bit earlier, it's gone bonkers. That's an Australian word, I think. So it's done really, really well, and there are all sorts of other benefits as well. So I'd like to actually thank all the people who have hosted me and reposted and shared my content. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just move on to our next slide. So this is sharing the guest post. Now, you probably think that, she's already covered this because we talked about putting it on social media. We've talked about, sharing it all around the place. I actually find that some of the guest posts that I've written for other people, they share and I don't know if it's automated. I don't know if they just sit down every day and say, I'm going to share this post today. They are clever enough, though, to put my Twitter handle in. So it comes up on my my mentions, and I share it again, and I like it, and I retweet it for them. So this is a constant, there's a constant sort of overlap of how many times this one particular blog post that I wrote for somebody else is getting exposure. But what I want to talk about today is I sat down a week or so ago and I went through all the blog posts that I'd written, and I have a file where I keep them, which I'm very proud of. And I have decided that I am going to re-share them on my website. And I'm not going to do this very often because I don't want them to smother my the other content that I'm creating for this website. But I think some of the articles are certainly worth sharing. Obviously, I've written for other bloggers, and we both have a similar we're sharing a similar theme. So in particular, mine is children's books, literacy, education, the role of grandparents, and my goal is to meld those two together. And I'm writing a book about it, which is very exciting again, which is another way to get those blog posts out. So I sat down and I went through my list of 100 and something guest posts, and admittedly some of them maybe they're not as good as others, that just happens, that's what we do. So I've actually done is I've picked out 35, and these are 35 guest articles I wrote for somebody else, which I think my audience will also be very interested in. Now, I'm not going to do what I see a lot of other bloggers and authors do. I'm not going to repost the exact content, because, again, I know you can do it and you shouldn't and you should, but I just want to be on the safe side, and I want to have a level of integrity on my website that says, here it is. Here is something I've done before, but I want to show it to you again, or I think you might be interested in it. So what I am endeavouring to do is create a 200 to 250 word introduction, and then I'm going to say about the article, and I'm saying, I've just started, so I should be using past tense. Then I'm saying things like, and here is the article, go and read it. And so again, anyone who clicks on it, it's going to create great SEO for the other blogger, which will, of course, return the love, return the sharing love in some way. So this is something that I've just started. I'm really interested to track the analytics and see how it works. So I will probably come back in 6 months and give you an overview. But let's just quickly go through what we've done so far. Oh, there we go. Putting your blog post to work, brought to you by billbaloo.com and presented by myself, Susan Day, from getonlinefast.net. If you want to find out more about my 100 blog posts in 1 year experiment, please contact me. My author email is susandayWriter@gmail.com. So I hope you've enjoyed this presentation. I hope you've got a lot out of it. Remember that one blog post that you've written, it's fabulous, it's great. Everyone deserves to see it. They deserve to read it. But don't just plonk it on your website and sit there and cross your fingers. Make it work for you. Get it out there. Use social media. Use all the automated reposting, resharing, retweeting old content plugins that you can use that are compatible with your theme, of course. And also, sharing and getting out there. But the guest post, write other posts for other people. I can't tell you how wonderful it is. I'm going to get some graphs together and share it with you all. And also look at those guest posts. Don't just leave them on other people's websites, just like your own content's just sitting there mulling around, minding its own business. Get it out and get it to work. Work it with you, share it with social media, and more importantly, repost the content onto your website as an introduction to other people and say, look, I wrote this and it appears here. What do you think about it? I'd really like to get your ideas. So there we have it. There is my presentation for today. Thank you for joining me. My name is Susan Day. I hope you really enjoy putting your blog post to work.